Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Daily Bone Podcast. We're live. We got a kick-ass show. We are discussing the blockbuster news from the Bloomberg Bros. They are calling them James Safer and Eric Valanciunas.
Look at this comment. Oh, LOL. Nick's going to get wrecked on today's stream. Don't think he's going to join today. What?
People were, I got DMs of people like, yo, hey, do you think Nick's going to show up to the show tomorrow? I'm like, yeah, like he's going to be there. But hold on. We're going to break down the ETH ETF. We got some predictions, alt season heating up, meme coins. We got all that. It's a fantastic day. Everything is green. We are euphoric. But Nick, any initial commentary? I wanted to talk about it later on.
I got commentary. He's a paper-handed idiot who left 30 grand. Dude, you made $70,000 and the timeline is complaining about it. Like, get 70 grand, you idiot, and then talk. All right? It pissed me off last night to see it. And normally I'd never stand up for Nick. Only I can dunk on Nick. And I think he made a beautiful trade. And people are like, no, you're an idiot. He didn't do shit. He fucked up and left 10 ETH on the table.
Well, also, so a couple of things. One, I liquidated to the guy that I bought from. And also, yeah, I knew that he was going to like underbid me basically. So I knew that I was off by a few ETH. I didn't know if it was like 3 ETH, 5 ETH. Someone else went and bought it for 10 ETH. But I would argue that they bought it for 10 ETH because it was mine. Because it was
the provenance.
The provenance ownership of that punk. It's a historical punk at this point in time. So yeah, it does deserve a premium, but if I had just listed it, that would have been a whole other like process basically in terms of getting liquidity. And it would have been like, they would have leveraged the fact that ETH immediately pumped an hour after I sold it as like it against me to try and negotiate me down. So like ultimately, shout out to the buyer who I guess got a deal, but basically paid a premium. The winner in all of this is Punk's OTC because I sold him the ETH. I sold him 90 ETH, which by the way, I had just bought when I bought it. Like I literally bought the ETH for the purpose of buying the Punk. So it wasn't like I had a spare 90 ETH sitting around. I had US dollars because the market had been like capitulating. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get a Punk at this cheap price. And punks have underperformed. Had I just held the ETH, I would have made a lot more money, basically. I'd have nearly $400,000 if I just held it in ETH. But I wouldn't have done that. Like, I just wouldn't have done it. But I was buying, I've been buying Solana. I've been buying Bitcoin. I'm up above where I was at the peak of the prior market. So, like,
let's go.
I don't know.
Quick information.
This is exactly the same reaction, Nick, you had when you floored your rare green thing. Remind me from which collection? Deadfellas. Your rare rabbit. You sold it for 50,000, and then somebody came in after you, and I think they sold it for like 70 or 80,000, like something like that. And I remember during the spaces. Yeah, and I remember everybody during the spaces and on the timeline was laughing at you at the time, being like, "Oh, you sold like only for 50K," and then lo and behold, like, I mean, you wouldn't even be able to sell that today. But it's just interesting to see like that sort of same, I don't know, sell shaming, I guess you want to call it, for a very similar trade.
I think, look, there were two reasons I did this. One was, the day before, I was describing this specific type of NFT as non-fungible trophies. And I was like, I haven't won yet. Like, I'm still in the ring competing, and I'm sitting there with a $150,000 trophy is what I view punks as, which is, to me, it's the same as like having $1 million painting on your wall. If you have $1 million painting, you've already made it. And whereas I'm like, I haven't made it. If I've made it, then like, why am I doing what I'm doing? Like like, we're building a business. We're like, I also think that crypto has a huge, I thought it was going to have like a serious swing up. Little did I know it was going to happen an hour after I sold the Punk.
No, you knew.
But I did know. I was tipped off by the SEC because I'm boys with them. But the thing that I was going to say is like, I genuinely think that crypto goes on a ripper. And I think we have like quite a run coming. I don't know if it's like like obviously there's the ETF news, so we could have another rip. We could have another dump after that. I don't know where it's going, but I do know that like things are going to go up another 3x or something like that. And I just see, I'm like, okay, if I have $1 million of liquid crypto, well, I'm on my path to go hit this like other target. And that's the one thing that I know definitive, like that I have a lot of conviction in, is the position of crypto 2xing, 3xing, 4xing, 5xing basically. And that gives me the best odds of me hitting my my target in this market, in this cycle pretty much. Because if I can walk away with like close to 5 million just on my crypto position, that's a sick place to be. And dude, I could just like buy this apartment basically, or I could get another apartment in Florida to avoid taxes. You know, there's a lot
pretty
of
nice down here.
Nick, there you can be my neighbor. Actually, there's someone that just moved out. Hey,
well, it's too hot to go outside there now for the next 6 months. But other than that,
until hurricane season ends, like right now, it's like it feels like 105 right now during the day. My dog won't walk. He just.
Are we gonna have dinner tonight?
Yeah.
Oh, you're coming out tonight. Let's go. Nick, it's weather's just fine over here. Easy and I were playing pickleball a little bit yesterday. We were playing well. We played a lot better. Outside. We were getting our tan on. Look, you can see we're getting nice tan over here. Fun fact:
pickleball at
4 p.m. to about 8 p.m. Usually, we showed up yesterday around 5, played till about 7.
Shirtless, Speedo, it's a whole thing.
Yep.
Nick, fun fact: the person that bought your CryptoPunk relisted it for 69 ETH. Interesting, and it was a fresh wallet created yesterday. So mysterious buyer, no one knows who it is. I'm going to be doing some investigation. We got Ray on the case, our quant, to try to find out who the buyer is. And if we do find out, guess where it's going? Daily Bone newsletter. Sign up. Subscribe at dailybones.com. Before we kick off today's show, today's show is brought to you in partnership with the one, the only board Elon Musk. He's going to be joining us on the show in about 30 minutes. It's the Boregon Trail, which is something that he just built, and it's powered by the Bored token. It's a modern crypto reimagining of the classic PC game, the Oregon Trail. I remember playing this back in the day. It's on Farcaster and powered by, like I was saying, the Bored token on base. So you can compete to climb the daily leaderboard, and to play, all you have to do is create a Farcaster account, have 1,000 board, which is only $2 on the base network. Go to Boregon Trail. .xyz to play, and we'll be talking and learning a little bit more about the game and what they're building later on in the show. Let's kick off the show. We got a banger ahead of us, lots of stuff to cover. My fantasy top cards, by the way, I don't even want to talk about it.
I'm giving back 100% of the rewards. Okay. They're all going back.
I definitely love participating in that.
Rich, I hold an easy card.
Yeah, you're getting. Let's see what you get here.
001.
Yeah, there's 381 holders. And I got 0.9 ETH. So you're going to get about $4. Me, on the other hand, I get a bunch of shit by doing this. So, just rob Peter to pay Paul. That's it.
Signal, let's do this thing. Let's get the show on the road.
Let's do this thing, people. Let's see what's been going on last 24 hours on Tuesday, May 21st. That ETH market volume is coming in at almost 20 million. ETH is just cooking. Solana is lower down at 3.5 and Ordinals even lower at 2.9. Onto the market leaders, we've got Ethereum, Milady's. They're up 30% to 5.6. Remilio's also up to 1.6 ETH floor, and Mutants are down to 2.3. Over on Solana's side, you got some things down as well, with Utes said down to 5.6 SOL, and over on Ordinals, Quantum Cats, they're down to 0.29 BTC. On a crypto roundup, the majors, they have been cooking over the past 24 hours on the back of positive ETH ETF news. The Bitcoin is up to 71,200. Woo! And Ethereum is up over 20% to 3,750. And Solana is up just 1%. It's holding almost 180. Alts and memes follow the rally. They've been led by MOG and Ticker Bitcoin. They're both up over 40%. Other winners include Pups. That's you, Clemente. That's up over 40%. Bonk is up 30%. And Pepe up 22% to a new all-time all-time high of 4.8 billion market cap. Nice. Over the past 24 hours, firstly, the Bloomberg bros, James and Eric Alcunas, the two ETF analysts for Bloomberg, updated their odds on the Ethereum ETF approval from 25% to 75%. This comes on the heels of the SEC asking ETF applicants to update filings on accelerated basis ahead of Van X ETF deadline this Thursday. Secondly, CryptoPunks announced Super Punk World, a 500 supply collection by punk in residence Nina Chanel, and received just massive backlash from the community. Later, Gaga walked back plans for the mint, changed the mechanics to an airdrop for Nina's Super Cool World holders, and stated that they're just not going to touch. We're not ever going to touch the punks again. And Punk's floor has dropped to 36th floor. And lastly, Art Blocks overhauled their website and launched Studio, an independent self-publishing platform for artists. Misbar by Melissa Beardect was announced as the first project using a new platform on Mint today at 1 p.m. Eastern. This collection has a supply of just 55 pieces and a price tag of 0.05 ETH. That is all for the weather report. That's enough for us in the last 24 hours.
Woo! Let's go, baby. Let's go. It's a great day to be a fungible token. Not so great to be a fungible token or a Twitter random ass Twitter fantasy trading card. Some updates from the Nifty Daily from the Daily Bones newsletter. Sign up at dailybones.com. You get this newsletter sent to you every single morning at 8 a.m. Eastern. Very first story today, we have the total DeFi TVL, and pardon me, I'm going to try to pull this up at the same time. DeFi Llama, here we go. Total DeFi TVL has surpassed $100 billion. That's a B, everyone, for the first time since May 2022. Let's freaking go, baby. Next story, spot Bitcoin ETFs record their fourth consecutive day with over $200 million of net inflows. It's just good news after good news, baby. Actually, breaking that trend, Gala Games was hacked for $21 million as an exploiter minted $5 billion.
$200 million, 220 million, not 21. Sorry, there was you missed a zero, and that's a pretty substantial zero.
Yikes! Even worse. Okay, so scratch that. $220 million was the Gala Games hack. That is no bueno, but Gala is down 5% in the last 24 hours to a $1.4 billion market cap. How is it not lower? Only down 7%. That's very wild. Okay, well, hey, next story. Bridging protocol DeBridge is introducing their DBR token. They announced the details and tokenomics for it. Is this DGods? What are we talking about here? Is this completely unrelated?
Completely unrelated.
Completely unrelated.
Are you kidding me?
Nope. So you have DBridge, DGods. There's also, I think, D Labs, which is another ETH NFT. That's a game. Yeah, honestly, probably should work on some copyright and branding situations here to prevent things like this. But hey,
doesn't DGods have to like sue them?
I don't think they have to.
I mean,
I guess they could just let it go, but I don't know. It feels like selective defense of a trademark situation.
They're not defending Nick. They're just vibes, bro. They're just vibing, dude. Come on. They're not suing anyone. They're just chilling like a villain. I was surprised to see Utes below 6 Sol. They were doing
DGods down under 30 as well.
They are down 50%, if not more, from their bridge. It was wild to see how fast everything was changing. People were calling the ultimate sell signal was when the DGods were at 50 Sol, and everyone was calling for them to flip Mad Lads, right? They're like, hey, we're back. Like, give us the #1 spot again. But hey, we'll see how it pans out here. Let's get into the show, though. Let's talk macro. Let's talk crypto price action. It is all green. We got Bitcoin up 6% to 71K, ETH up 22%, and Solana is up only 1% to 179. Very interesting. We were talking about this on the show yesterday. We even brought up the ETH ETF and how it was pretty much guaranteed that it was going to get denied thanks to the Bloomberg bros, but they pivoted. They said that this is kind of an emergency pivot that the correct me if I'm wrong, Easy. This is what I've been seeing on Twitter, that the Democrats are pivoting because of Donald Trump.
Yeah, the mainstream liberal media is now siding with the cryptocurrency bros.
Is that actually what happened? Because I saw, like, Nick?
I just feel like Easy's communication of it is a little bit like
spot on.
So the thing I was gonna, so there's two separate things, but yeah, that does feel like the vibe is that
Elections are one on vibes.
I mean, to be fair, the people that were like absolutely making it hell for crypto, I think were like the further left you got, the more.
Well, the House also just passed a bill for banning CBDCs, and that's now going to Senate for a federal CBDC, which is really interesting. And that's speculated to get passed for the first time. Now it's starting to shape up. Originally, it was thought
ban CBDCs
at a federal level. So a federal CBDC in the US.
Why would they do that?
Because the argument is that cryptocurrency should remain decentralized and not be under a central entity. So like USDC would technically be like the main stable coin versus the US government launching a CBDC.
How did this get passed? This is crazy.
Crazy. So it got passed yesterday. It was a Republican senator who put the bill forward. It got passed yesterday and now is going to, I believe, Senate today or sometime soon. But that's the big thing. That was like where people were like, oh shit, this is happening. And then all the ETH ETF news that happened was basically what DC Investor had actually said was he felt that they had to remove staking, Ethereum staking from the bill to allow it to pass, or from the ETF filing to allow it to pass. Sorry.
Yeah, I saw that thing. DC
and that's
Investor,
what they did. By the way, so they did remove it. Van Eck removed it, and now that's the front runner to be the first one approved.
Do we owe DC Investor an apology? Does all of crypto Twitter owe him an apology? Because people were being aggressive at him. He was touting, he was saying, hey, ETH ETF is going to get approved, blah, 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 all this stuff. And he's very mad he's on a warpath against the Bloomberg bros too. And he's still pretty salty today. I'm like, dude, you need to chill out a little bit, DC. But he's still like, very mad that people were dunking on ETH for so long. So we don't owe him an apology.
No. Why would I apologize? Solana's up like 6,000%. ETH's up like 36.
Well, sorry, we didn't say anything about.
No, we did. He's talking the timeline. Does the timeline owe him an apology? Because they've been dunking on DC for being this diehard, only ETH only crypto bro. And now that because ETH was lagging for so long, the timeline was basically calling him an idiot every single day.
Every single day.
Literally every single day.
Next question. Do we owe the bankless bros an apology?
No. Send them to zero.
No?
Literally send them to zero. They're so mean to Solana for so many years. Send them to zero.
They're like jerks, dude. And I don't get acknowledgement from who's the boxing guy?
David Hoffman.
David Hoffman. That guy.
That guy. I'll tell you what.
That guy.
Okay, so no apologies needed. Okay, I was just curious because it feels like things were they were maybe right. And we were dunking on him for a little while. I would actually like an apology. I brought up MOG yesterday, guys. I brought up MOG. I'm like, hey, is this a buy? The only person that said it was a buy was Greeny in the comments. It's up 40%, guys. What are we doing?
No, yeah, you did well. Honestly, but you know what's way better? There's a way better move here. Pop open, pump fun.
No, we're not. No, we're
not doing that.
No.
Actually, do you know the news that I took away from this? Because, obviously BlackRock did their Ethereum application ages ago. They did it ages ago, right after the BTC one went in. They did the Ethereum one. And at the time, I was thinking, do they know something that we don't? If I see any of these large funds putting in a Solana application or anything like that, I am sprinting to the buy button because they clearly know something that we don't know, or at least DC Investor.
I think it's going to be an alt ETF though. That's like my thing, and that's been my thesis for a while. Yeah, exactly. I think it's going to be a basket of like based on market caps versus just ETH Bitcoin. I think the next one, honestly, call me crazy, the next ETF may be XRP. As crazy as it sounds, it might be XRP. That's where like if I'm a betting man, I would say it'd be XRP. Just because of like its ties to the global banking system and what it's doing globally from like traditional finance and establishing the ability for CBDCs in a variety of different global locations, including South Korea. China's piloting a program in a bunch of these Southeast Asian countries. It wouldn't shock me for XRP.
What happened with their case in the end?
They won.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
XRP
that
won.
would be.
So it was deemed not a security, which was like the huge thing here. And I'm not a big XRP guy. I don't hold any, but like the governments love it. Like they absolutely love it. And it's become this kind of like stable thing here that a lot of foreign countries actually use and has like some very good on and off ramps for banks to leverage for like traditional CBDCs. Like they basically have an SDK of sorts or a templated out of the box approach for it for banks. So it wouldn't shock me to see an XRP one if it happened. But then I think following that, I think we'd get those three and then potentially like a mixed basket of like an altcoin ETF.
I like the mixed basket. I think once these, well, obviously they have all these ETFs, they've got a taste of the fees. Once they see those fees chowing down on the Ethereum side, and then the banks start asking, they're going to be like, yeah, okay, if everything else, if all our products potentially have sort of been plateauing for the last few years, and this is the only place where we're actually seeing real money coming in terms of the like the appetite and the demand for these ETFs, makes sense that a mixed basket could come in after this. But let's see. This needs to play out first, but I like that idea. I don't think you're out to lunch, Easy.
So live look at Ethereum. It's almost at $3,800, which is wild. It's nearing its all-time high of $4,700. It's still like not that close, right? What, it's 20% away while Bitcoin's already at an all-time high. So this thing could get approved as soon as Thursday. We saw what the Bitcoin ETF inflows did to the price. People, especially Raw Paul, who keep in mind he's very ETH native, he was saying that because 30% of Ethereum's 30% of Ethereum is staked, right, and that it's a third of the market cap of Bitcoin, that the inflows that we're going to see, even if it's not as high as the Bitcoin ETF, are going to absolutely skyrocket Ethereum. Any thoughts? Observations on that? Could we see like 8K Ethereum in the next 2 months? Like how high could this thing go? Could it get real crazy, like $1 trillion market cap Ethereum? Any predictions here? Easy, Nick, Signal?
Well, sorry. I was just going to say the price. Well, the price of ETH, I guess the target is, well, I saw people talking about 20K. I feel like 10K is more reasonable for me.
20K is crazy, dude.
I like 10K for this cycle. Right after the ETF, I think we just go to all-time highs. That's the more interesting move here. I mean, the target's like 4,200 right now. I don't know, like, I mean, Bitcoin was able to get back essentially to all-time highs, and that's where it's been hovering around. Mm. So I think that's generally where we're going. The additional catalyst, then we're just like waiting on the market overall. So this is just more like an adjustment based on this information. I like where the market's at right now. I don't think we're like, I think if it's fully approved, I think over 4K seems like a reasonable run here. And yeah, I'm just glad that I have a bunch of ETH, you know, that's like the,
so I am actually curious.
Just to add to that, Clemente, as well. I agree with what Nick is saying. I think we're going to see a very similar story play out with what happened with Bitcoin. And we just stay in this from like 4 to 4.2K for a while. The inflows will spike that volatility. So we'll be having this conversation, be like, oh, there's been X 100 million of Ethereum come through. Oh, look at the price, it's gone up. But that will go on for a while and then it'll sort of peter out. But I think what's more interesting will be like, this almost feels like, do you remember Fred Krueger was saying that what keeps him up at night is an Ethereum ETF coming through and it being a competitive? It'll be interesting to see how the two of these are marketed and which one is more palatable to the retail market. Whether like you say the word Bitcoin and people think scam, or you say the word Ethereum and they think Vitalik, somebody credible. And I think we'll be interested to see what is the marketing machine of these two ETFs towards retail.
I think the Bitcoin one is the easiest one. I had a conversation with somebody 2 days ago who did not understand what I did, and they were just very curious. And when I started to like correlate Bitcoin to gold and how it has a fixed supply, that's where it clicked for them. They're in like the gold and silver market, so they buy spot gold, spot silver. And he was complaining about how when they find more gold, gold prices tank. And I explained like Bitcoin's digital gold, there's a fixed supply. We know how much exists. And it lets you transact peer-to-peer. And I like explained and showed him I could literally send him 10 grand right now without the need for an ACH or wire transfer, and a bank couldn't stop it. And that was like what really clicked for him. He was like, oh shit, now how do I buy this? Like, can I buy 0.1 of this, 0.2? Like, how does this work? And that was the confusing part until I told him he could literally take his retirement and buy IBIT for like $37 or whatever it's at. And that was where he was like, oh, okay. Like, I can get Bitcoin exposure through this. That's crazy to me. And that was the big thing for him, where he was like, it really kind of clicked and snaps for him to be like, okay, this makes way more sense, and kind of like shifted his thought process on it. And I think that's where you're going to see a lot more of like the Bitcoin side of stuff. ETH is a little bit more difficult to try to explain. It's like, yeah, well, there's these decentralized applications and a variety of builders all over the world making apps that we can use, and you can leverage your money. And
I feel like you can dumb it down. I mean, one is the gold of crypto. The other one is the development platform, basically. Like, I just feel like it's easy. Like, you could use AWS as a corollary. You could use you could say
it's still not as easy as being like, this is digital gold, hard stop. And like, that is really easy to get, like really easy to understand.
So I'm on Nick's side. I'm on Nick's side, actually. I've been trying to convince all of my friends, family, and keep in mind, I'm terrible at explaining things myself. But for some reason, they're more interested in Ethereum than Bitcoin. Maybe it's because the number
might be a unit bias, though. That's the other side of it, where it's like when you start shipping them the ETFs that are sub $40, they're like, oh, this is sick. I can buy a share and I have Bitcoin for $40. You know, like that's what my dad does. And he's like, oh, it's up $4. And I'm like,
Clemente's family barely has $40 to actually buy a share, so that is something that they're able to relate to. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're able to be like, oh, I can buy one of those shares.
That's crazy, going after my family. Hey, that's fine. We can do a little Chilean. If you want to start beef with the Chileans, just tell me. Hey, you don't want to start beef with the Chileans. I'll tell you that. They're rolling deep. I'll just say, watch out when you come into Miami tonight. I got the Latino squad is going to be coming after you, baby. It's going to be coming after you. Okay. All right. I got worked up there. Any closing thoughts? Look, very interesting here. We saw PEPE hit a new all-time high. It's up 30% in the last 24 hours. That is not too shabby. We have Dogecoin up 10%. Bonk is up 33%. And I was pretty surprised by Dog with Hat, only 2%. Many people were calling for the Memecoin Supercycle to really start kicking off here. Is this the catalyst that we need for alt season and then Memecoin season? Easy. Any thoughts here?
I'm long AVAX Memecoins.
AVAX Memecoins. What is that? Cock?
Long cock.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. Long no chill. Those are the two main ones. Yeah, this is the one. I'm long this. I think no chill is the other one, just because I think the AVAX ecosystem in general has been lagging, and they do try to like trade in parity. So that's the one that I'm looking at there. Long cock, long no chill. Those are the main two.
What's interesting, so I'm a big fan of long cock, and then I think the other thing on AVAX here is it looks, I mean, we said it on the show the other day, basically, like the AVAX is very compelling on a price basis, because they're at 36 versus like it had pumped up to like 65. And so from that standpoint, like it still has a ways to go to get back to, I mean, I guess Solana has to get back to 220 or no, 200. It's at 180. So it has, 10% to go. Whereas AVAX has 50% to go to get back to the same point in time. So AVAX is just a very interesting. I bought more the other day.
I'm buying more. The thesis hasn't changed at all.
I think I'm going to buy more right now. Just another $5,000.
Think about it, dude. Like, what has changed about AVAX even remotely? Nothing. The subnets are getting better. OpenSea is now going to be supporting Gunzilla's subnet, so you're going to be able to buy, sell, and trade assets. That's going to be the first game on PlayStation and Xbox for a Web3 game, and it's powered by a subnet on AVAX. So I'm like, this just means scalability and continued growth. Shrapnel's doing a bunch of awesome stuff. I can't leak too much, but maybe something similar. There's a bunch of really interesting things from the subnet side of things. Maple Story's coming to AVAX subnet, which is arguably the largest IP in Southeast Asia from a gaming perspective, and they're bringing every single asset on chain. Like, I just think the AVAX ecosystem is continuing to crush. Like, there's nothing that's changed about the thesis, even remotely. It's just lagging, and that happens in markets.
I'm back in, or not back in. I bought more. I just bought another 5K, and I think
Admiral, he's back.
Keep just adding.
Signal.
Yeah, I want to ask easy. Like, you know, everyone was talking about Solana going to $500 to $1,000. Does it like seeing what it took for Ethereum to get to like where it is now? Do you really think that Solana has
100%.
a catalyst event? Because Ethereum and Bitcoin have needed a substantial catalyst event, which will both of them were out of their control to get to where they like where they are currently. Solana doesn't have that. So for it to get to 500 to 1,000, where's that catalyst coming from?
It doesn't need it. You have the two main drivers with their catalysts that if inflows continue to happen, it's a rising tide shifts, like lifts all boats. The easiest way to take a look at it. Bitcoin goes to 150K, ETH goes to 8K, Sol will be at $500. The whole crypto market will continue to increase. The thing that a lot of people keep overthinking here is traditional finance, that level of money is a different type of money. We've never seen it in the crypto space before, ever. We're having $500 million of inflows daily on an ETF, and those same ETFs have to purchase Bitcoin. They have regulations on how much Bitcoin they have to hold, which is inherently a forced hand for the overall crypto market. So I think it's a rising tide lifts all boats here, where if Bitcoin inevitably, in my opinion, goes to 150K, on top of that, if we also see ETH push 8, 9K, Solana has to go up.
It's going to go up closer to 1,000. But look, Filecoin. Dude,
I got to go.
I'm just saying, look at this action. Look at the price action. I just added $2,500 additional of Filecoin because you're telling me it's not going to go back past 12 again? Like, this one is underappreciated. I'm back calling it. I'm calling Avalanche, which I just bought in. I've been the sole voice advocating for Avalanche this entire market cycle. The only person, talking about it. Filecoin. This one is shout out to the Filecoin fuckheads.
So is that a short-term buy, Nick? Because it got up to what, 12, 13 bucks and you didn't
just
sell.
Recently. This isn't like all time. All time is like 250. So this thing is going to go, this is going to go on an absolute tear. This is going to go up 500% from here. So my target on Filecoin is easily above 30.
Wow. 5x. All right, you heard it here first. I'm going to bookmark this. I'm going to tell our team to edit this, get it set in stone. Filecoin is currently at $6.22. Nick is calling.
You're going to be laughing at me when it's someone saying should to long cock, and I think yeah, definitely. But that one, I don't know. I don't know what the turnaround is on. What's the market cap right now for me to long cock?
The market cap of Cock, COQ, just for those who are spelling it potentially incorrectly here, as we take a quick peek at what's going on with Cock Inu. It's currently at a 211 million fully diluted.
It's not. That's the number one meme coin on AVAX?
Yes.
I don't mind that at all. I might buy some. I've got a bunch of AVAX.
Why long cock when you can buy, like Filecoin or AVAX?
Because if AVAX rallies, the meme coins tend to also give you a higher multiplier on the same rally, which is what we're literally seeing with like PEPE and MOG right now when on ETH. Like ETH is rallying, PEPE just broke 5 billion market cap, and now MOG is also pushing towards a bill.
I have a quick question. So with meme coins on ETH, right, or on, let's just say ETH goes to 6, 7K, what happens to the underlying meme coins? Because what I noticed yesterday was, well, the leading meme coins sent, right, like the established ones, but some of these weaker ones actually got spanked yesterday, they got spanked, which was kind of surprising. So I'm curious, like for Pac Moon, for example, right, Easy?
Oh, so much higher.
But
so
why?
much higher, because when the Blast TGE unlocks, it's going to be the same type of approach here. Like that's the main thing I look at is I'm like, this feels very much so like the underlying that has some leverage plays. And that's like a culture coin on the top of it too, is like, that's not a true inherent meme coin. Like that's what I'm looking at here is like on Blast, when you start to see valuations of those chains rise, it's the same exact argument we just had about Sol, like rising tides, all boats go higher. And it's like, as those ecosystems get more users and more interest, prices go up. I think Pac Moon, 50 cents is my target for Pac Moon. So we still have another, that's over 100%, 150% rally from right now. And I think we get it personally. Like look at the base meme coins compared to Blast meme coins. It's not even comparable. We just watched pew, 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 pew completely flop. So which means that liquidity is still going to continue to cycle back to like the tried and true ones, which at the moment is Pac Moon. And I'm still like giga long B wool until Cave Game, like Blast wool and Wolf Game. I'm giga long wool.
So you tweeted about this. What's the action for the free money here?
It's not a lot of free money. It's you get like $30, but the bigger thing is like playing the game. And then like I'm providing liquidity.
No, what do I do? Like what's the action?
You go to wolf.game.
Okay.
Literally just go to wolf.game. You press claim golden sheep and then follow the steps. You connect to Twitter. You don't give it any permissions. It's using Privy just to confirm that you're a real user. So you're not giving away tweet permissions or anything. Makes a custodial wallet.
Okay.
You send 0.01 ETH to that Privy wallet.
Okay.
And then it registers the account and you're good to go. And then Wolf Game opens up. The Cave Game opens up in 2 days. So you have 2 more days to do this.
So then you're going to add that to your deck on Blast?
Yes. And then you also get a minimum of 1,000 wool. So that runs like a wheel. You could get 100,000 wool is the highest prize there. So the minimum you're getting is $26, which is quite literally nothing. Like
and shiny boxes, right?
In a shiny box. So that's the other thing. So if you hold any of these assets, which I would assume Nick has a couple of these assets that are listed there, they give you multipliers. Like Pudgies are included. There's a whole bunch of other stuff on here. If you played IKB, Doodles, District 1, Chimpers, Battle Plan, they give you more of these boxes, and these boxes have assets for the game or potentially more wool. So my argument here is like Wolf Game was burning 1 million wool a day in Cave Game on mainnet ETH. Now we're getting rid of fees for gas and near instant transactions on Blast. So I think that wool burning is going to be significantly higher, which is going to send the wool prices higher. So until Cave Game launches, I'm LPing it because so many people are buying into this, and I'd rather continue to print on fees. Like, dude, I think I'm making like $200 to $300 a day, just literally letting it work.
Okay. Well, then that seems like gotta bridge a little bit of this money. That's on Blast, right?
Yeah, it's on Blast.
Quick question, Pio. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
See, MOG is up 50% on the day.
Good thing I've been. I tweeted about it. The fact that PEPE is at an all-time high is absolutely wild. That literally means that you actually should have just held the thing forever, which is completely insane when it's an anonymous meme coin, you know, where people called into question the founding group. It really is wild. I also saw a tweet from Raoul Paul that was like, once ETH breaks all-time highs, then you'll see the rotation into NFTs, which I actually could totally see happening. It's been pretty fascinating watching this whole Ethereum ETF thing play out and its impact on Bitcoin. And I think it's going to have a big impact on ETF flows for the Bitcoin ETFs. It's just a good thing all around. It's actually pretty wild, man. If this gets across the line, if Ethereum gets an ETF, that's absolutely bonkers. Absolutely bonkers.
People were saying that basically if the ETH ETF gets approved, it's just a green light for basically everything crypto going forward.
Well, the only thing is they still need to determine, like, do them approving the Ethereum ETF, is that them definitively declaring that Ethereum is a commodity? Because I don't think it is. Yes.
No, it's not.
Yeah, there you go. So that's the big thing is the commodity security question for everything except for Bitcoin. Right. So like Ethereum, Solana, if they declare Ethereum and Solana commodities, then that's crazy. But it seems like people are saying that junior people at the Biden administration are in, the higher ups' ears saying it's political suicide to go against crypto, which I agree with. And I guess they finally figured it out. And in typical government fashion, at the absolute last minute, they were like, approve the ETF, like literally right before the deadline. And now everyone at the SEC is scrambling, and you get Ethereum, pushing 4,000.
We just need to get your boy Fred Krueger on the show because he's not doing too hard right now because he's been calling that if the ETH ETF gets approved, it's like a disaster for Bitcoin ETFs.
So that's what he was saying before. When I interviewed Fred, he told me don't buy MicroStrategy ever under any circumstances. He's then completely flipped on it and said basically the only thing you should buy besides actual Bitcoin is MicroStrategy. He said he's not selling any Bitcoin on the show. When he was on my show, he said he's not selling any Bitcoin at all before 2040. He now said if we go to 250K, he's selling 33% of his Bitcoin. He's but I think he has stayed true on, you know, he's kept the same energy when it comes to the Ethereum ETF. He thinks it's really bad if it gets approved. He thinks it's bad for everybody. He thinks it's bad for Ethereum. He thinks it's bad for Bitcoin. I take the 180-degree opposite direction position on that. He also he also tweeted the other day that if you tweet about any altcoin at all in any circumstance, you lose all of your credibility.
He takes he's basically like a master troll. Like that his entire Twitter strategy is just trolling. So I don't believe anything that he says. Like there's literally nothing that I believe that he says.
On podcast, though, I think he is being dead serious. And the way he talks on podcasts is really funny. Anybody that wants to laugh, that's a new pick. So that's an updated pick right there. It's basically the same one as the previous pick, but it's an updated pick, which I love to see. On podcasts, what he basically does is he like recounts his entire multi-decade, extremely successful career and is just really proud of it. He's like, so I was I traded markets. I traded the stock market for about 6 years. He's like, I made a lot of money doing that, but I actually made a lot more money when I left the stock market and I was a technology entrepreneur before it was cool to be a technology entrepreneur. Then he like pauses for a second. He's like, well, I actually made a lot of money on the stock market. So I might have, like, it's just really funny listening to him like recount how successful his career's been. He's really good shit. He posts a lot of really good analysis on Bitcoin. He's awesome. He's funny.
Yeah. Before we get on and have Bored on the show, one last look at ETH NFTs, Milady's with a 40% pump. They are now, I think, the number 3 collection on ETH, or number 4 behind Pudgy Penguins, Bored Apes, and CryptoPunks, but up to almost a 6 ETH floor.
Is it programmed to go to 10?
Higher.
Could they?
Is it? What?
Ladies were saying, Nick, you should at least buy one Milady after your CryptoPunk sale, just as an insurance play.
Insurance, Nick.
They're going to 15.
A Milady, just as an insurance play after selling your CryptoPunk.
It's life insurance, Nick.
Yeah.
It's like when you pay the mob.
Yeah,
they like just protect you.
I kind of like paying the Milady mob. Like I kind of like being in the good graces of the Miladies, you know?
If the thesis is that this cycle will be largely meme coins, you should probably buy a Milady. I'm not gonna lie.
It's maybe positioned to be the number 1 NFT projects.
High key. And Nick, maybe they add you to one of those chats where they make the tickers that all go to $1 billion market cap. So you just get filthy rich.
And then you share it on the show. So
yeah,
we're expanding. So actually, that's utility. Really, that would be fantastic for the show. So you just want to buy one right now, real quick, live on the show?
Yeah, pull up the legend buy one.
You got some ETH, buddy.
My trainer is downstairs. I moved it to another wallet. So no, I'm maybe I buy it tomorrow after the price goes up a little more. The 5 ETH, I don't have the spare 5 ETH because I sold my CryptoPunk for so low.
I love people just being like, man, it's down bad. He left 10 ETH on the table, down bad.
God damn it.
Nick, these Miladies kind of look like you. I think you should get one.
Are you actually distraught about the 10 ETH left on the table?
No.
Didn't.
I mean, I definitely could have gotten like 3 or 4 more ETH is definitely what I think is possible. The 10 ETH is a different story. It literally like that punk sold because I sold it. Like
because of the provenance attached to it because of Choose Rich Nick.
I actually 100% believe that that's the case because like why would that thing have gotten like it's not a snipe at the price that it's at least that's my own opinion, but who knows? We'll see what happens with this. I'm letting crypto run, and I'm liking my liquid position that I have. That's where I'm operating. And
liquid crypto position is amazing. My mom's Schwab account is up like 14 G's yesterday.
Higher.
Cooking. Oh, higher. I mean, it's Bitcoin's not even 100K yet. How rich is this lady gonna be?
Higher.
Good God.
I was up yesterday $200,000. So I feel like I'm having a good day.
Good
so much higher.
Wow.
But all the people making fun of me are the people that could like buy a house where they live, basically, for the amount that I made yesterday.
Well,
I'm just kidding. No, one of them was Sergito, who was like talking about it or like tweeted about it. That dude's still holding. What's that? What are those art blocks?
Not Meebits.
Meebits is not an art block.
Close enough.
Starts with an M though.
Meridians.
Meridians. He literally aped the top of that when ETH was at the top. Maybe those end up selling. Maybe it comes full circle and he's able to get liquidity on it at that price. Art blocks we haven't seen any action on though. I got to run though.
Nick's got to run his meeting. He's getting that good workout in with T. Good stuff. Clemente, am I ready to intro board?
Kick it off.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have a friend of the show. I was listening to Mike Alfred's Twitter space yesterday, and Mike Alfred introed Board as his longtime friend. So I got to ask Board about that, how he's buddies with Mike Alfred for a long time. But Board is the founder of the metaverse company Edison. He's the creator of the Board token and the Boregon Trail game, for those of you that like old school gaming. He's also a very, very big time, I guess you'd call it a meme account, really just a comedy writing Twitter account that has amassed over 1 million followers and was early to pseudo anonymity. Board, welcome to the show, buddy.
Hey, thanks. Yeah, I've known Mike for a year and we follow each other on Twitter, so I guess we're old friends now. That is the truth. And just want to say my favorite color is green. I had to show up today with the market being green. I called up some friends, Gary, Liz, some junior staffers in the Democratic Party, made sure that I don't show up on Choose Rich Nick's show with the market down.
Well, you're connected. I love to hear it. Well, for Mike to only know you for a year and to publicly declare you his longtime friend, you must have made a pretty good impression. Have you ever hung out with him in person?
No. You know, actually, Easy is the only one who's seen me in person. He can confirm I am a human.
He's a real human. Can confirm. We got an excellent meal together. At
the video game conference?
No, in Miami, actually.
Oh, cool. Very nice.
Nice of you to assume that we're nerds.
What do you want? I mean, come on. So for people that are unfamiliar, can you give a rundown of the Boregon Trail game and how it like works in relation to the Board token?
All right. So speed run 43 days ago, accidentally made a meme coin on the base network. It's just $Board. A lot of people were interested in it. It's sitting currently around a $7 million liquidity pool. So it's pretty healthy. It's been like that the entire time. And the community was like, let's go do some cool stuff. And the idea that came to mind was, let's go remake Oregon Trail. So anybody who grew up in the 80s or 90s might remember going to their like school computer lab, playing this game, Oregon Trail. Basically, it was trek through the frontier of old-timey America, make decisions along the way, and try to live as long as you possibly can. So Boregon Trail is basically a reimagining of that. It's modern. It has completely new storylines. It's a little cheeky. It's a little inappropriate. And the idea is it's a really simple push your luck game. You have basically two decisions. You push forward and keep going because you still have health, and your goal is to not die. And the other decision you make is, I want to stop because I've gone far enough and I think I've gone further than everyone else. And the general idea here is you pay 1,000 Board token to play, which is like $2, pretty cheap. Everybody's money goes into the prize pool. And then at the end of the 24-hour period, every single day, whoever the top 3 winners are, meaning the people who have gone the furthest without dying, they get that prize pool, and it's split up with first, second, and third. So we've had about 1,000 people playing every single day. It's still new. We were testing it last week. So far, it hasn't broken. And yeah, we plan on continuing to upgrade it, adding more like player decision making and strategy. And I think the big call out is it's on Farcaster. So some people who are listening might know what Farcaster is. Some people might not. I'd say it's at this point the largest decentralized social network out there. It looks kind of like Twitter, but you truly own your following. You can take it anywhere you want to go. I've seen a lot of these attempts at building sort of a Twitter clone that's on crypto that have failed. Farcaster is the first time I've really felt like this thing has a chance. So we built the first version of Boregon Trail to run completely in this social network on Farcaster. So if you want to play, you should make an account. But yeah, so far so good. It's been having a lot of fun, and again, we want to keep upgrading it.
How far did the first place person get mile wise?
Like 350 miles so far.
Dang.
Okay.
I'm at 55 right now.
If you don't break 150, you're probably not going to be in the running because so many people are playing.
The graphics are super cool. I like the art style a lot. That's pretty awesome. How do the giveaways work? So you tweeted recently, it said you gave away over 15K of tokens in the first week since launch. What does that look like?
Yeah, so I mean, for the first 2 weeks, we've been basically infusing the prize pool with extra board. We've got a treasury of token. So we've been putting in an extra million board per day on top of whatever is raised from people who are just putting in entries. So yeah, that'll be running for the next 5 days. So if anybody wants to play to try it out, definitely the next 5 days is a good time to start. And you know, the prize pool sort of depends on the price of the token. As of right now, people are pulling in like 2 or 3K, or the prize pools are on 2 or 3K per day. You know, if the token goes up, this game gets more expensive and the prizes get more valuable. So that's just how it's going to go.
How many plays a day do you think you get on this?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking right now. We're getting at least 1,000 in the first week, which is pretty good. And the thing is, like, Farcaster is getting about 100K daily active users. So that's pretty good considering like how many people are using the network. It's nothing compared to Twitter or Instagram or any, you know, Web 2 social network. The goal definitely is to expand outside of Farcaster and just make this a web app so anybody can play. But we kind of wanted to try it out first in one place and make sure it all is like looking good, working well. And, you know, Farcaster is super crypto native. So it was just a good place to launch the game. But like anybody who's in gaming knows, you have to have your game in a lot of platforms to get millions of people playing it.
And Board, why Base in general for your Board token? Obviously, Base is closely correlated with Farcaster, but I'm curious why you went with Base in particular versus Solana or Blast, for example.
Yeah, I got to retort what Easy was saying about Base meme coins. So, I mean, look, like Base is not necessarily the home of meme coins right now, but there's two things to consider. One, look where the developers are going. The growth of developers being interested in L2s, like Base is capturing a lot of attention. It's pretty insane. So wherever developers go, that's where interesting things get built. Second, like, you know, Base and Coinbase obviously very linked together. I can imagine a world in the future where Coinbase, the wallet, and the actual like exchange app start to feature meme coins. And who is Coinbase going to feature in their app when it comes to meme coins? Might not be Avalanche or Solana. It's probably going to be, you know, meme coins on Base. So that's kind of what I'm banking on. And it's just a really easy transition to go from Ethereum to Base. So that's the strategy. You know, we'll see if it works out. But thus far, I would say for me, like Base has become my secondary chain. After Ethereum, it's Base, and then I'll look at the other stuff. But yeah, that's the bet we made.
I mean, look, there's worse bets you can make, Base being backed by the Coinbase, Brian Armstrong's publicly traded crypto company. So that's you know, name brand organization. What are some of the upgrades that you guys are planning to do for the future of the game?
Yeah, so we're looking at a lot of things. Like obviously with every game, you have this combination of luck and strategy. Like, you know, poker is a good example of it has both luck and strategy. Chess is all strategy. Chutes and ladders or whatever, most kids' games are all luck. Right now, you know, there's definitely a lot of luck in this game, and your strategy is really like assessing how far you are relative to everybody else. You can coordinate with other people, try to get further amongst your group and try to win, but there's a lot of room to add decision making. So a couple of things we're thinking of doing is adding mini games in between the traveling sessions. So imagine like playing a game of blackjack, doing some fishing, solving puzzles, solving riddles. The more choice you give people, the more variety there's going to be in sort of the outcomes. So I don't want to necessarily give you a specific, here's what the roadmap looks like. But the general idea is to keep expanding this universe of Boregon to have different play styles and maybe just even break out of 2D and go 3D in general overall or in the future. That's like further down the road. But Boregon, like we feel like the universe we've created here, the art style, the vibe is really powerful. So the idea is like start with a mini game and then expand from there.
Super cool. And how, like, let's say, listeners that are listening to this right now, they think it's interesting. How do they actually play the game?
Yeah. So basically, like, first things first, you have to have a Farcaster account, which, we're doing Dan Romero over at Farcaster a lot of favors here by pushing people to go and create Farcaster accounts. But that's number one. Just go to farcaster.xyz. There's a really nice app called Warpcast, which is basically like a client that you can use to use Farcaster. So that's step one. Hopefully it's not too tricky for anybody who's in crypto. Step two, get some board token. You just need 1,000 board token to play. It's like $2. You can get it on Uniswap. And then basically after that, just go to the Boregon Trail account. You can go to my account. The way frames work is that it's like a little application inside of a post, right? Like imagine if on Twitter, in addition to content or videos or images, you could actually post an application that lives inside of your tweet. That's basically what frames are on Farcaster. So find one of those. And once you see one, again, just go to my account if you want, or join our Discord and we'll send you there. But yeah, you can play the game right inside the feed.
And that's what we're seeing on the screen right now is literally me playing on Warpcast.
It's basically like, stop, keep going, stop, keep going.
Yeah. Do I have to stop to get on the leaderboard?
No, you just have to not die. Stop is kind of just like, I want to make sure I save this, like maybe if
so my 155-mile run, I died. I'm not on the leaderboard.
Yeah, so click check standings on your run here. So it'll tell you basically, okay, relative to everybody who's playing right now in this 24-hour period, you're in the top 10. All right, so it's still early in the day. And you're in the top 10. You got to be in the top 3 to actually win anything. And the way this works is it doesn't tell you exactly what your health is. So right now it says your health is vibing. That's not the highest. That's the highest. So it's actually a number. Like we know what the number is, but we don't want to specifically tell anybody what your health is. So you kind of have to guess, like, how far do I want to push my luck?
Yeah, I mean, I think the mechanics are definitely really interesting. Is there anything that we missed that people should know about Boregon Trail specifically? Because real quick, I did want to talk about, just the organization Edison itself too. But first, before we move on from Boregon Trail, anything that we missed?
Yeah, just shout out to the artist, Brian Morris, who did all of this.
Oh, Brian Morris.
Yeah, I do know Brian. Yeah, exactly.
All righty. No wonder I like the art. Look at that.
Yeah, that man's a machine. He is amazing. I know you guys know each other. He did this like glitch art style, which makes the game feel a lot more vibrant. The developer was Brock the Bread Cat. He coded this up, and a lot of people contributed to providing ideas for the game. But shout out to those two guys. They did an amazing job, and they're going to continue to help build this out.
Brock and Brian Morris, incredible artwork job here for Boregon Trail. Very, very cool stuff. Check out his other artwork too. Definitely a phenomenal artist in the space. So quickly, like I was kind of alluding to, Board, can you share updates about the Edison organization and like the upcoming activations you have? Like, I'm always interested to hear about the legitimate companies that are building in this space, just because as time goes on, there's so few. More come about in hype moments, but they fizzle out just as quickly. So anyone actually here for multiple years, I always want to hear about what's going on.
Well, no higher compliment than being called a legitimate businessman. Thank you so much, Pio. Yeah, man. I mean, it's so I started a joint venture with Improbable, and people probably know Improbable because they're powering Yuga's other side. They built the first and second trip, and they're doing many others along the way. So Edison is a company that is creating massive multiplayer experiences. So something that's kind of in between a concert and a video game that happens in your browser. We started the company late last year. We've put on 5 or 6 really large events. We're actually doing one on Thursday in partnership with FuckRender. It's going to be this beautiful low gravity 3D world that you get to navigate. And the idea really is to cater to people who don't necessarily have like 20, 30 hours a week to play video games. It's somebody who's got like 30 minutes or 60 minutes, wants to jump in, play a really fun game, kind of like a Fall Guys or a Super Mario Party, really easy to understand. And the magic of it is that you can play with up to 20,000 people in the same exact concurrent world. So that's very different than what you can do in Fortnite or Call of Duty. So yeah, it's been growing quickly. Pretty soon we're going to announce the completion of an angel round. And it's truly meant to be a metaverse company. So don't be shocked if you see apes in there, if you see wizards from Forgotten Runes in there, if you see grills gangs, like anybody who has a 3D avatar, any community that wants to participate in these things, they're going to be welcome to show up.
Well, congratulations on a potential round. It sounds like now's definitely a good time to raise money. And again, love to see people, doing significant things in the space and sticking around for a while. So look, if people want to check out Boregon Trail, they can go to twitter.com/board token base. That's one place. You can go to warpcast.com/boardcaster. And then of course, boardtoken.io. Did I miss anything, Board? Anywhere else people should go?
No, that's easiest. Yeah, boardtoken.io. It'll send you to all the right places.
Awesome. BoregonTrail.xyz. We have it on the YouTube stream. Well, look, thanks so much for joining us, Board. It's always a pleasure. And, hope that we can, see more progression here with Boregon Trail, but it's super cool. The art is top notch, and love to see people building stuff in a truly crypto and decentralized way.
Yeah, appreciate you all. Thanks.
Hell yeah, man. Thanks for joining. Clemente, take us home. This is your show today, buddies. Not mine.
Let's go. Let's go. Thank you all for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe if you're listening on YouTube. Like the stream. If you are listening to us on Twitter, follow us at Nifty Portal. We'll be live tomorrow, same time, 9 a.m. Eastern.